Hi, my name is Jay Goodis, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Tax Templates Inc. I'm going to walk you through some of the details of TTI's Corporate Tax Continuity Worksheet. This worksheet reconciles CRA assessments to journalized tax amounts and also determines the current tax provision. We will be using the completion guide to help guide us through this worksheet. This worksheet is composed of 4 key sections that will complete in order. The first section requires the year-end information and the inputs of the ending balances from the prior year financial statements by tax year. So let's begin by entering the year-end of OPCO as December 31st, 2016. Next, we'll assume there was a payable balance of $10,000 for the year ending December 31st, 2015, and a $3,000 refund expected for the tax year ending December 31st, 2014. The inputs to the right are available for unrealized events that have previously been journalized, but the tax event has not yet occurred. An example would be a provision for a tax audit still ongoing, or a refund held back by CRA. The second section requires inputs directly from assessments and reassessments received during the tax year. The purpose is to determine any over or under accruals for the corporation. We'll assume the first record we have is a notice of assessment for the tax year ending December 31st, 2015. I'll choose this year end from the drop-down menu, and I will identify that I have an assessment. The possible inputs are marked as green cells below. I can then enter the figures directly from the notice of assessment. We'll assume there are federal taxes of $6,000 and provincial taxes of $3,000. Next, let's assume we have a reassessment for the tax year ending December 31st, 2014. I'll use the next column to enter the required information. I'll choose this year end from the drop-down menu and identify that I have a reassessment. The possible inputs are again marked as green below. I can then enter the figures directly from the notice of reassessment. We'll assume there are total federal taxes of $10,000 and provincial taxes of $5,000. We'll also assume that the taxpayer has received interest income of $50. If the client has correctly journalized the interest income to the appropriate revenue account, we can include the amount in the cell below. Otherwise, we can enter 0 into the highlighted cell. In order to capture the differences between the notice of reassessment and the assessment, immediately below, we will enter the details from the most recent assessment for this specific tax year. We'll assume the latest assessment included refundable Part 1 tax of $2,000, total federal taxes of $14,000, and provincial taxes of $6,000. A few cells have turned yellow above for us to consider. We will confirm Part 1 refundable tax from the reassessment. We'll enter 0 as the balance from the reassessment. And the other highlighted cell is asking whether we have booked a debit or a credit to the financial statements for the refundable Part 1 tax in anticipation of this adjustment. If so, we can enter the credit amount for the situation. We'll assume we have not yet journalized any amount for Part 1 refundable tax and can therefore enter 0. Where applicable, entries are available for the dividend refund, Part 4 taxes, and other taxable credits. Advanced versions of this worksheet also support Shred. Once we have completed entering the information for the assessments and reassessments received during the tax year, the worksheet will provide a journal entry to reconcile the over/under accruals. Now, the worksheet supports manual adjustments and custom accounts when necessary. The third section of this worksheet reconciles each year's tax balance to the CRA. Simply enter the amount paid or refunded to CRA as identified from Represent a Client or other sources to arrive at the ending receivable or payable balance for the specific tax year. In cases where the amount paid refunded agrees, the ending balances will be nil. Where a balance remains, These balances can be used as the opening balances for the next year's tax continuity schedule. The final section of this worksheet is completing the current year tax provision. We can simply follow the line numbers and copy them directly from our corporate tax return. I will include an amount for total tax payable of $30,000 and installments paid before December 31st of $10,000. Once this information has been entered, you're provided with the journal entry to book the current provision. If your client has any loss carrybacks or other adjustments, they can be recorded above. The worksheet will also add any of these amounts to the journal entry for the expected receivable or payable. As a final reconciliation, we provide you with all the balances by account to ensure all your financial records are consistent and accurate. Balances for the current year are also provided along with net payments, which may be helpful in the preparation of your client's financial statements. If you have any questions about using this worksheet, please feel free to email us at support@taxtemplates.ca.